Hey, how's it going, everyone? Today I'm going to show you some tool organization ideas with Kaizen foam. This is kind of a response to Justin the Snap-on Junkie's foam video. I'm going to show you some different ways if you're looking to make it a little more modular. If you want to come in here. Since I'm still kind of building my tool collection and I only had 2 sheets of this stuff, so I didn't have enough to do my full toolbox, I kind of came up with a few ideas to make it a little modular. So if I, in the near future, decide that this isn't where I want this, then I can still move it, and it still works out pretty good. Eats up a little more space, but all in all, it works out pretty good, and I really don't use nearly as much foam in the long run. So I've got a new ratchet here, and a chunk of foam left over, so I'm going to show you how I plan on, we're going to cut it in half, and then I'll show you how I do all the cutting and with a little razor, and then how I peel it back. So now here is where I'm going to show you if you're trying to kind of conserve how much foam you use. I buy the super thick stuff, the 57 millimeter or whatever they consider it, but I usually rip it in half most of the time. Some of my drawers I leave it the full size, just depends on what I'm trying to do. But as you can see here, so it's 2 3/8, and half of that is 1 inch and 3/16, I think, something like that. So I just bring it over to the table saw, and it cuts actually pretty good. You just bring it all the way up. And this makes it so much nicer because you can still, doesn't eat up so much foam. Let's see, there we go. Basically after that you get a nice sheet that's cut in half, and you've doubled how much usable foam you have. So here's our little half piece of foam, and I've got the tools set up on it, and this is, on a large item, this is kind of how I like to have things set up, kind of like this. So now, like Justin had in his video, was a really long pen, which I don't have that. So what I do is I just take a fresh little razor knife, and I just go right along the outside. And make sure it is a fresh one, because if it's not, it is super hard to cut this stuff. This will just give me the basic outline of the tool. And I can take it off. It's kind of hard to see, but once you get the edge going, you just start scooching it back. Now the key with this is to have your finger right in there at the edge of the peel. You don't want to be pulling back from like here. This way you'll get a more consistent grab every time, and everything just turns out a lot nicer. So now we got our first layers taken off. We'll kind of test fit it. That fits in there perfect. So now when I want to go deeper, then I take an actual knife and I'll start taking it off along the sides. Now this razor right here isn't very sharp, so that kind of gives you a better idea of how well a sharp knife works. You hear this one? It even sounds different, and it's just effortless when you're cutting through the foam. So I'll finish pulling out this, get it kind of at the depth I want, and then I'll show you how to do the little finger taps. So here we've got our finished product, kind of how we want it sitting. But as you can kind of tell, I mean, I could pull it up from over here, but anywhere in between, it's gonna be kind of a pain. So one of the things I like to do is melt little finger pulls into it. And how I do that is I just have a chunk of rod here. And hit it my propane torch. And you can see I've kind of done this a lot of times with it. As you can see the melted plastic on there. It takes a fair amount of heat. But once it's going, you can do it for quite a while. You can find a spot. You just kind of let it do its thing. And that'll melt in a little finger pull. And be careful because you can kind of go overboard with it. Depends on what you're doing. But it hardens right up. And if you have any extra little frills on there that you don't want, you can just melt the plastic. And there you go. Now you have something to pull it off with. So the next part we're going to show is, since I don't have this on one big sheet, every time I want to pull it up, I want to move around because there's not a lot of weight to it. So the next step we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to put a little weight in the bottom to keep it held down. When it comes to weighing everything down, I'll show you an example of stuff I've already done. So I have these really two long screwdrivers right in here. Just these two little strips to hold them down. So what I've done is I've just taken, you just take a little scrap chunk of steel and do the same process that you do for like a tool. Cut it out. I use some spray adhesive. Spray it in there, clamp it, let it glue, or let it dry for like an hour or two, and then it gives it some heft so that it doesn't want to slide around. And there's just really holds everything together a lot better. And that way, when I go to pull these off, they don't move around. So I just pull it up. It does take a little more time, but if you're doing it that way, it's kind of something you have to do. And I'll show you here. I've got the one I'm doing just for this ratchet right here. So that kind of gives you an idea, and you just let it dry. I've got the spray adhesive that I use, and that should hold it down. On this one, I'm gonna do two, just give it a little extra weight. But hopefully, that kind of gives you some ideas on if you don't have the full sheets or you're still kind of building your tool collection, on how to use the foam a little more modularly. Like I can take this and I can put it in any drawer I want to. I'm not stuck once I have it cut in. But that's going to be it for today's video. Don't forget to please comment, rate, and subscribe.